Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. For spiritualists who already has surpassed the lower stages, maybe in previous life or this life, and he has come to the fixity that my goal is only now to achieve the spiritual salvation, the liberation. So then he begins this path of Jnana Yoga. So then he will not have any work or any obligation in this world to perform any duties. So then his only focus is for the liberation, and the medium for that is the Jnana. The Jnana is the knowledge, and the knowledge here means the complete analysis of the material and spiritual, the tattva of Atma, Paramatma, the Prakriti, everything. So regarding this, the detailed analysis through Vedic studies, so this path is called Jnana Yoga. So here Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that Shreyan Dravyamaya Yajna Jnana Yajna Parantapa Sarvam Karma Kilam Partha Jnane Parisamapyate. So here Krishna is mentioning how Jnana stands out compared to karma, because is Krishna telling here Shreyam Dravyamaya Yajna Jnana Yajna Parantapa. Dravyamaya means the material, matter. Dravyamaya Yajna means the yajna which we perform with physical elements, like we offer oblations in the yajna kunda, and we chant mantras, and we take sankalpa for the pleasure of devatas and God Vishnu. So this is called the Dravya Yajna. And many others do other kind of yajna, like offering charity, and they also do other kind of yajna, like doing the breath control, that is through pranayama. So Krishna is giving details about these various kinds of yajna in chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. And in the last section of the chapter 4 he is mentioning, compared to all these yajnas, the yajna of Jnana is better. It is higher compared to these yajnas. Jnana yajna means this involves our intelligence and our consciousness. There is a difference between understanding something spiritual and realizing something spiritual. One may understand that I am not this body, I am spirit soul, I am spiritual entity, but he may not act on this spiritual foundation, on this spiritual truth. When his consciousness is not going towards that and is not acting towards that, that just remains a theoretical understanding. He may just have that understanding, but it goes in one of the corner of his consciousness. But when at every moment he acts in this consciousness, so that is called as realization, and that is actually Jnana. Just having knowledge is not actually called Jnana by Krishna. So Jnana Yoga means one who is acting on that platform. So that's why Krishna is saying Jnana Yajna Parantapa. So this Jnana Yajna is higher than the Dravyamaya Yajna. Then further Krishna tells Sarvan Karma Kilam Partha, means all the activities, when one performs various activities in this world, life after life, so many lives, then finally when he comes to this understanding that okay, actually all these actions which I am doing, which is driven by my selfish desires, my material desires, is not giving me ultimate satisfaction. Now I should search for the ultimate truth. When such kind of revelation comes in his heart, so that's why that is higher than this. So Sarvam Karma Kilam Partha Jnane Parisamapyate. That will ultimately come to this point. Sarvan karma akilam means all the activities will ultimately lead to this point of jnana when it is performed in the right consciousness. So further Krishna actually speaks details on the jnana and he glorifies jnana as well. So he tells that as like when you put a fire on the wood will get burned, and the blazing fire actually converts wood into ashes. Similarly, the jnana burns away all our tendencies, the karmic tendencies, the materialistic tendencies, and it burns our karma to ashes, like that Krishna mentions in Gita. So coming to the practicality, so what is the difference between Nishkama Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga? The difference is very slight difference. There is not much difference actually, because both the common thing in both the Nishkama Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga is one is completely fixed in his goal, that my goal is not the materialistic desires, rather my goal is to achieve the Supreme God. But one is not able to completely surrender and not able to completely take shelter of God and the knowledge because of his impurities in the heart. That's why he has to perform actions. He is still attached to the actions. May not be attached to the results of action, but he is attached to the actions. So that's why he has to perform actions. So that is Nishkama Karma Yoga. But the other, in Jnana Yoga, his goal is fixed and also he has taken complete shelter and surrendered to God and the surrender to the aspect of knowledge, of spiritual knowledge. He has full faith in the knowledge and that's why he doesn't have to perform any actions. Any duty of this world doesn't affect him or any obligation. That's why we see many sadhus in Himalayas and many other places they go, they are all the Jnana yogis. And generally, the Shastras mention the Jnana yogis meditate on the impersonal Brahman, the Parabrahman. They don't meditate on the personal feature of like Krishna, they meditate on the impersonal Brahman. We already discussed in the previous video that the impersonal Brahma Jyoti is nothing but Krishna's divine effulgence of his spiritual existence, spiritual body. So they meditate on that impersonal Brahma Jyoti, and that is what is their goal generally. The Jnana Yogis' goal is to attain that impersonal Brahma Jyoti, and their main process is to undergo thorough study of this Jnana scriptures. Jnana scriptures in the sense that which discusses the detailed analysis between the matter and spirit, between the Prakriti, Jiva and the Supreme God, the Shakti. So all these things they thoroughly undergo the study, analysis, and they completely take shelter of the Supreme Entity. The material effects to them. Jnana Yogi, because he doesn't perform any work, he doesn't perform any actions, any karma, he is dependent on the Supreme Entity. He just begs alms for his living, and his focus is all the time the spiritual advancement. So that's why Krishna tells in 12th chapter that this path is difficult. Everybody cannot follow this. Like going to a secluded place, going to the remote place, going to the forest and living away from the society and not having any source of their daily needs even. So they are completely dependent on the Supreme Entity, and that too their focus is not on the bhakti, their focus is on the jnana, that is on the meditation on the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. So this is very difficult. Klesho adhikataras tesham avyaktasakta chetasam. He tells in the chapter 12. But even to attain that goal, they have to have some aspect of bhakti towards the Krishna. So Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 7 that so such kind of jnana yogis, they completely purify themselves by attainment of jnana and renouncing everything material. So generally they are sannyasis, they are like renunciates. They have completely left the society, any kind of association of materialistic people, and they are in a secluded place and only depending on Krishna. So such kind of jnanis, after many lifetimes, they come to understanding that Krishna is the pivotal point of everything that exists. Even he is the pivotal of that supreme Brahma Jyoti, and he is the source of all the divine spiritual rasa. Rasa in the sense mellows, the loving exchanges. So the bhakti towards him is higher than going and merging into the impersonal Brahma Jyoti. Because the goal of Jnana Yogis is reaching to the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, there is no material miseries. That is just like a peace plane. That is like a Shanti. Material anxiety is no material plane. It is above the materialistic dualities. There are no dualities there. There is no karma bandhana, there is no janma mrityu. It is just like a border or boundary between the material and spiritual world. So that is what is their aspiration. But when they lead life of Jnana Yogis from many years, many lifetimes, then they finally come to the conclusion that I have to achieve Krishna actually. Because loving relationship with Krishna is like more blissful than being into this Brahma Jyoti. Going from material world to Brahma Jyoti is like going from negative axis to zero. And going from Brahma Jyoti to going to Krishna Loka and entering into the pastimes of Krishna is like going from zero to the positive axis. So the Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan ma prapadyate Vasudevam sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. So Krishna is telling that Bahunam janmanamante. Bahunam means after many lifetimes. Bahut janm ke baad. Bahunam janmanamante Jnanavan mam prapadyate. Jnanavan means those who are jnanis. Mam prapadyate. They surrender unto me finally. They come to my shelter. Vasudevam sarvamiti means everything is nothing but actually Krishna. Even the Brahma Jyoti is the expansion of Krishna. Vasudevam sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. Such kind of a great soul is very difficult to get. Like this Krishna is telling about the Jnana Yogis in chapter 7. Hare Krishna.